Let's talk. Welcome back. Wherever you are right now, on your drive, folding laundry, walking under a quiet sky, or sitting with your thoughts after a long day, I'm honored you pressed play. And before we get into today's episode, I want to say something simple but sincere. Thank you for listening. Thank you for making space in your life for reflection. Thank you for allowing me into that space with you. This isn't just a podcast. This is a table. You and me, sitting across from each other. No script, no pretense, just the truth as I've come to know it, spoken with respect, humility, and an open heart. And what I want to talk about today is something I've only recently been able to put into words. Something that's lived in my mind and in my marriage for years, but never had a name. Until now. I call it the assistant. The role a husband plays, not as a hero, not as a commander, not as a head of household the way we were taught to believe, but as a silent, devoted, and deeply observant assistant to the most important person in his world, his wife. Let me explain. I've been married long enough to know that you don't get far on big moments alone. Love isn't built on grand gestures. Not really. It's not the anniversary dinners or the surprise vacations. It's not the big gifts or the romantic posts. It's the moments in between. It's noticing that she's low on her favorite face wash and picking it up before she asks. It's changing the light bulb in the hallway because you know it flickering irritates her. It's offering to drive on the days when you see her shoulders slump just a little lower than usual. It's saying, "You go lie down. I've got the dishes." But it's more than that. Let me tell you how this clicked for me. It was a regular Tuesday evening. Nothing special. Dinner was over, the kids were finally quiet, and my wife was moving through the kitchen, wiping counters, putting away the leftovers, and loading the dishwasher like clockwork. I sat there on the couch, half tired, half distracted, until something in me told me to watch. Not just look at her, but see her. And when I did, I realized something that stopped me cold. She does so much without ever asking for credit. Not just in that moment, but every day. The house doesn't just function. It breathes because she breathes into it. And yet, how many times had I let her carry the emotional and physical load because I was waiting to be asked? That's when I stood up, walked over, and started drying the dishes beside her. Not a word, just movement. And she looked over, slightly surprised, and then smiled. That smile, it wasn't thank you. It wasn't praise. It was a small moment of relief, like someone had quietly picked up the other end of something heavy. From that day forward, I started thinking differently. What if I stopped trying to be the leader and instead became the most reliable, invisible assistant she could ask for? What if I didn't wait to be told? What if I stopped needing to be seen and focused instead on seeing her? It changed me. Being a man, especially in marriage, often comes with layers of pride. And I'll be honest, I'm no exception. There's a voice that sometimes says, "You've worked all day. You deserve to sit down. This isn't your job." She didn't ask for help, so maybe she doesn't need it. But that voice isn't strength, it's ego. And ego has no place in the heart of someone who claims to love another human being. Now, I know some people hear the word assistant and they think small. They think submissive, less than, secondary. But here's what I've come to believe. A true assistant sees everything, anticipates, protects without needing applause. You think assistants in high-stakes jobs are passive? Think again. They're the ones making sure nothing slips. They're the ones holding it all together behind the scenes. And in a marriage, that kind of quiet attentiveness, that kind of faithful, intentional presence, that's love in its purest form. There's something poetic about being the one who holds up the corners of her world without asking her to look down and notice. Because truth is, she already carries enough. She's processing emotions you may never see. She's thinking 6 steps ahead for the whole family. She's tired. And still, she keeps going. But here's where I get vulnerable with you. I don't always get it right. There are days when I miss the signs, when I get wrapped up in my own stress, and I stop paying attention. There are moments when I do help, but then silently wish she'd notice more. Say thank you louder. Make me feel important. And in those moments, I realize something humbling. Even when I try to serve her, I still make it about me. That's where growth begins. That's where I stop, breathe, and remind myself, you are not helping her to feel validated. You are helping her, so she doesn't have to carry it all alone. It's not about recognition. It's about relief. One of the most difficult but powerful truths I've come to realize is this. A good husband doesn't need to be in control. He needs to be in rhythm. Let me say that again. A good husband doesn't need to be in control. He needs to be in rhythm with her needs, her energy, her changes, her growth. And that rhythm, it takes time. It takes failing forward. It takes listening even when she isn't speaking. A wife isn't someone you just provide for. She's someone you partner with. And partnership looks like knowing when to lead and when to follow, when to ask questions, and when to just show up with a cup of tea and a blanket. It looks like saying, you go ahead, I'll take care of the rest. Even when you're tired, too. It looks like caring for her dreams even if they don't involve you, even if they take her far away, even if they terrify you. It looks like supporting the fullness of who she is without trying to shrink her into something easier to understand. Because every woman is more than meets the eye. There's more to her than the routine, than the motherhood, than the work titles, than the moments she shares with you. She is a storm and a stillness, a mystery and a map. And if you pay attention, she'll teach you how to love better, but only if you stop talking long enough to listen. So what's the lesson here? What have I learned as a husband, trying to become not just a provider, not just a protector, but an assistant? It's this. When you devote yourself to quietly supporting your wife's well-being, you get to witness her bloom in ways that no one else will ever see. And that is the reward. If you're a woman listening today and you feel unseen, I hope this reminds you, you are worth more than what is acknowledged. You are powerful, even when no one is watching. And you deserve someone who chooses to study you like a sacred text, with reverence and care. And if you're a man listening, maybe you're like me, trying, messing up, showing up again anyway. Just know, you don't have to have all the answers. You just have to keep watching, keep learning, keep serving, quietly, faithfully, without needing to be seen, because you already know who you are. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for listening with your whole heart. If this episode reminded you of something you've forgotten, share it. Send it to someone who needs to hear it. Let it be the spark of a new conversation or the reminder of a love worth tending to. Because as long as you're walking through this with honesty and hope, I'm with you.